I remember in the middle of COVID, I remember sending this picture to my friend group, and my friend and like longest time player at the time said, "You know what? This image is amazing, and I love those lesbians over there, but I want to know more about this rat." And I think that's why there are rat people in my campaign setting. I really do. We'd been talking about having there be like Ratfolk or whatever in our campaign setting for ages. And I remember them showing up years and years and years ago when we were doing Pathfinder, because there were Ratfolk in Pathfinder you could play as. So that must have been, 9 years ago or 10 years ago at this point. So they were on some island and they were canon. And then we just never used them because we were playing 5th edition and 5e never had any rat people in it, except for like third party. You could get the Tome of Beasts one or something like that. So we never used them. And then we went back to Atraxia where we played our third, our Kingmaker now, our third Kingmaker adventure, which is our main game. And suddenly it's up to me to make sure that there are rat people again. And I'm like, well, remembering this rat, I have to remember that there are indeed rat people in Rathome, specifically in Atraxia. This stream is the next part of the Dillhorne adventure series that we've been doing here in the live streams, and the idea was that we'd go make a beginner adventure for 1st to 3rd level, and we'd do it together with chat, and we'd create the whole adventure from scratch all together using polls and stuff like that. And in the last episodes, we created the town, an outline, and a hex map, and then we voted, and we decided that the first dungeon was going to be us running rats. The adventure's for Rathome, and we're going to do a rat, like a Skaven adventure. And just so I make sure I credit these accurately, this is the cover of Legends and Lattes, which is a New York Times bestseller. So this is the front and back cover. I think the split, if you can see the cursor. The split is somewhere over there. So the rat's on the back. It's a back rat. Does that make sense? Anyway, welcome to Mystic Arts. My name is Daði. I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for over 11 years. Not a lot over, a little bit over. How y'all doing, everybody? It's a little tight. It's been a while since I streamed, and all of my gear seems to be not where it should be. So I'm probably going to have to be futzing with the settings here for a little bit. If you have back rats, everybody, see a doctor. That's funny, Zamru. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I was going to stream a couple of weeks ago, but I decided to take a little Christmas break. And now we did upload videos. We uploaded the city video last week. Yeah, that was a lot of work. It started snowing, so we very quickly went outside and filmed a bunch. I apologize because my voice is going to be a little shot and I've been a little coughy, so I might occasionally have to mute myself, and I'll try and spare you the visual of me coughing constantly on stream here by cutting over to the screen, as I'm going to do right now. Look at this. This is where we left off last time in the Obsidian document. And you can see here, this is our Dillhorne document, 1st to 3rd level player characters. Let's see if I can make all this make sense. Oh, hang on. It moves when I... That's no good. Copy. Paste. Yes. Copy. Let's watch Daði mess around with Obsidian. There we go. Hang on a minute. Terrible streaming. Terrible. You know, it's the Mystic Arts curse. Every time we go live, something completely fails. Terrible. This is our document, our 1st to 3rd level beginner adventure for 5th edition. And we had here our factions, our corporations, a whole bunch of stuff in here, unaligned. And then we wrote down Radigan clan. That's what we call them in our setting, Radigan. The Ivar, the lover of the rat from Legends and Lattes, has objected to there being 2 T's, but this is how I've been writing it this whole time, so I think we're sticking with it. And then we have our hex crawl section. We wrote down a bunch of dungeon ideas. God, that's a lot. Are we going to do all this? That seems crazy. And the one that won the vote was Rathome, and the one that came second was the Wizard Tower of Amber Lane, both of which we're very excited by. So what we're going to do, we're going to click edit. We're going to go to not source view, because I want things to look a little pretty as I'm working on them. Rathome. And we're going to have to figure out what this is. Let me see if I can't find the map real quick. If I go to this camera view and I open up my Discord, I remember there being a map that we'd finished. I'm a little Christmas brain foggy over here. Look at this. Here's the map. This is what we did last time. These towns here are the sort of normal world map that we did. And then we have the bit of forest, the Ashwood. And here's Rathome. And we're going to go make that right now. Now, my idea for most of this is that we'd make them into 5-room dungeons. But I don't know if that's what we're going to do now with Rathome, if we want Rathome to be 2 5-room dungeons or 3 5-room. Do we want them to, connect to each other, or do we just want to make a 5-room dungeon for it? How important are the rats? I think this is going to be our first question to chat. Now, last time we did this, we did several polls. What we did is I'd just ask a question. There's something I don't know, so I'd ask a question to chat, and you folks vote on a poll, and you tell me what you want to do. And that's what we're going to make it be, and we're going to try and find a way to make it make sense, right? So it doesn't have to be that complicated. So I'm just going to ask, how long is the Rathome dungeon? And the options are going to be 5-room dungeon, X2 5-room dungeon. That one's going to be called Important Rats. And then we're going to have a bigger dungeon. Rat side quest. So they're not important. I think if it's a 15-room dungeon, I don't think that means that the rats are very important. I think that means that the rats are its own thing, right? So these are the 3 options. I'm going to put a poll up right now. And I'm going to have a little drink of my water here. Meanwhile, I'm going to answer this question from Andrew Downing. Do I think an entire long campaign can just be a series of 5-room dungeons in the story structure sense, not actual dungeon? Yeah. I genuinely believe that story structures are fractals. You can play with them forever. You can take, if you're talking about just the story structure of you introduce a thing and nobody can deal with it until the players deal with it. Then you have some time for roleplay. You set them back, you bring it to a climactic end, and then you reward them. You could do that over the course of 1 session or 10 sessions or 50 sessions or 50 sessions and also within those 50 sections of 10 and within those 10 sections of 1. Why couldn't you do that forever? Every TV show you've ever loved, if you've ever watched like a long-running network TV show, you've seen that happen. Even if you're watching something like Stranger Things, no spoilers, I still haven't seen the last episode. I'm going to watch it after the stream. But if you're watching something like Stranger Things, if you decide to go look for the format, you're going to find it. And I'm telling you that because I went to film school and I had a whole class of screenwriter friends, all of whom were learning screenwriting at the same time. And what happened is universally, when we were taught about script structure, we discovered it everywhere. In our favorite shows, in documentaries, in reality TV, in books, in the news, in the way people who told stories in TED Talks talked. Once you know what a story structure is, and once you start noticing them, you realize that anything fits in that structure. Because humans, this isn't something we invented. This isn't a formula we invented to make movies quick, cheap, and easy. Like a movie executive. No. Humans tell stories. That's what we do. We are social beast. And we tell stories to each other. And when we do that, We like hearing stories in a certain rhythm, in a certain way, because it keeps us engaged. So, keeping people engaged is the same art form, no matter if you're doing it as a part of a movie or a book, or a YouTube video, or as a DM, or in a dungeon, or in a module. It's all the same art form. It's just keeping people engaged, and it's just telling stories. They're all the same. All of them. With that yap aside, looks like a double dungeon has won. I like that idea. 2 5-room dungeons. So are they going to be on top of each other or spread out? Which feels more rat? And poll. New poll. New question. This is how we're going to do it, folks. Layout? Question mark. 5-room dungeons on top. 5-room dungeon below. Or 5-room dungeon back to back. So it's either 5 and 5 like this, or 5 and 5 like that. Which feels more rat to you? AB's hidden behind me. She's watching some Brunley Mulligan video. Sorry. No, it's fine. I'm just jealous. I want to be watching that Brunley Mulligan video. I've seen clips of that on vertical video platforms. Which, if you're cool, you now call them verties because you don't give brand advertising to whatever platform you like. So you just call them all verties, and then you don't have to specify where you saw a shallow vertical video. You just call them all verties. I've been in 2 vertical videos, and that means I'm allowed to make this statement, even if AB hates that I'm making it.
It's the worst statement.
Crisscrossed. On top feels more rat to me. Stacked. Yeah, I like stacked. Can there be a middle option? How's middle, all my dice? Oh, like something in between? Well, we're not going to do 15, though. That back might be oops, more dungeon. Yeah, we can play with the format like that. Bioshock CU asks, rats behave full Skaven mode or something more were-rat like? I like Skaven. I have brought minis to answer this question. This here, so for anyone not familiar with what the Skaven are, Warhammer Fantasy has a bunch of armies, and all of those armies are like their own species and their own kind of fighting style. And here is what a Skaven looks like. Let's see, the camera gets this. This is like a Skaven with 2 swords and like a hood. This is the Skaven chaff. The Skaven army is full of these guys, and they all suck. And then it's got some cool guys that do a bunch of damage. And in Skaven armies, that can be like rattling guns or warp launcher Jezzails, or they're like snipers and machine guns. This is a rat ogre. Don't look at my face. Look at the rat ogre. Look at how big it is. Let me put a Skaven next to it. Right? That's cool. So we could stick one of these in. That'd be fun. And then we need to decide what our boss looks like. And I've got 2 bosses here in front of me. Ivar did offer his other Skaven minis, but they were unpainted. And I decided that I wanted to give you an option of 2 painted rat bosses. And there is the... Hang on, how do I put this in front of my face? Stealth rat. I hope you guys can see this all right. Well, with YouTube, like compression and algorithm and all that. Stealth rat. So this is like guy with like a big knife. Stealthy rogue rat. That's option 1. Stealthy rogue rat. And option 2. Rat with grenade launcher. He's got like a jetpack or something on his back. And he's got I don't know. This looks like a rocket propelled grenade or something to me, right? Like it's about to launch a firework. So which one of those do you like? Yeah. Tronky Carol is telling us what the actual name of these Warhammer guys is. I'm not a real Warhammer fan. Hang on, I have to end the first poll on top and below. I think that's the right call. We're gonna start a new poll. Which boss? Rogue Stealth Rat. Rocket Launcher Rat. Which one's the boss? That's the next question. Now I'm gonna have to cough again. I apologize. Surprising no one. Rocket propelled rat is the first on the list. The Zenith asks, are the rats in opposition or are they quest givers? I think they're bad guys. I think the fun here is that we get to design a new low CR monster from scratch. Now, I don't think we're going to do it tonight, but I will make a video where I make a bunch of rats. Not tonight, but I will do that, and then they can be bad guys. Will the Dillhorne rats have Atroxian firearms? They can do. I like the idea of them having rat firearms, whatever that means. Caleb Plan says both. That's not bad. Remember the original idea, mice are building spud guns. Was that our original idea? That's true, that is our original idea. It says so right here. Spud guns. What does that mean? Well, I think it's the rocket launcher rat then. I think that is what we're doing. Joel Mull asks, what are the different factions? You can play them against each other. I think that's very cool. I don't know if 5-room dungeons is enough for us to do that. Let's call it on the vote here. It seems like more people want the rocket launcher rat. Or the ratificer. That's funny. The new Draw Steel Monster Manual has a bunch of cool rats in it. They all have pun names, and we were cackling. We love the Ratfolk. I think it's the biggest crime that WotC never put them in the game. But look, it says Ratigan here are making spud guns. I think that is very interesting, and that's something I want to play with. But I'm gonna ask complications, right? So somebody said 2 factions. That way you can use the both of the bosses. But it might get a little thin on the ground if it's just 5-room dungeon per faction. But it might be all we need. I don't know. Maybe that is fun. Ratificer, and they're doing like science. Rat warfare. They're gonna attack Dillhorne down. Oh, I wrote Twoon. Sorry. Here you go. What else? What's another thing we want to do here? I don't know. Which complication do we like? Now, it's just a 5-room dungeon. So, technically there's nothing stopping us from saying all of the things, but this is going to happen over the course of a session or 2. So we need to make sure that we're going to land all the content we're doing. Banksy art with rocket ramp launchers. That is fun. Is the ancient battlefield from an era of firearms? No, I don't think so. I think if the rats have their own way of making guns, like somebody said warpstone, which is a thing from Warhammer, I think that's a cool idea. You know, maybe it's some rat science, but it doesn't have to be. But you know, that seems to be the one that's winning. All right, they're doing science. What is the science? Is the science just a rocket launcher? Let's spitball on that, right? So, what kind of science are the rats doing? Are they making guns? Why are they making guns? I don't know. I don't know why they're making guns. Blighted spuds. So I guess like rot. I think that's a good thing. Oh, thanks, Balter. I remember that. Yeah, Aurelio Voltaire. This was in downtown Reykjavik. You could have absolutely come said hi. Somebody else did that night. It was cool. I love it when people come up to me and say hi, because then I get to ask them what kind of game they're playing, and then I get to steal their ideas. It's the best. Mutant human. One does not question rat science. Sorry, old Blix. I apologize. Sell to pirates. Other factions is a good point, because we have a bunch of other factions in our plan here that we haven't talked about right now. So there are goblins. They might want to go to war with the goblins. Might be building like a goblin bomb that kills all the goblins. Many Teeth tribe. What was that? I don't know. I know we got a lot of ideas for like what they're doing, but I think the answer I actually want to find is not what they're doing, but why they're doing it. Like, what is their end goal? That's the one I'm kind of lost on. Lebrahal Actual, this note platform is Obsidian, and we have a video on it here on the channel. I've got this video, and then I've got another video where I talk about specifically how to set up this vault that I'm using right here. Have I seen the Milk Adventure for OSE? I have not. Science, highly explosive potato starch. Potato spud, you know. Okay. Why? What's their plan? What do they want? What are they after? When will the rats be sated? When will the rats rest on their rat laurels? Agricultural science, solve a famine? That makes me like the rats. I gotta hate these rats. I'm gonna go kill 80 of these rats. You gotta make me be okay with that. You know what I mean? Gotta make me go, yes. Death to the genocide rats. Why are the rats doing the science? Goblin genocide. Right? Like, what are their motivations? What is their evil scheme? Bioweapon. Bioweapon? Bioweapon. I like bioweapon. Big source of food. Spuds. Cause a famine. Yeah, that's good. Cause a famine. That's solid. Who are they going to famine? Are they going to famine Dillhorne? I guess the better question is, who are the rats' enemies? Now I'm kind of happy that we're not doing two factions of rats. We're just going to do rat science. And then we don't have to make the rats' enemies be inside the same dungeon. They can be outside. They can be another faction. And we're going to go and we're going to fight them, you know? There's a giant rat that makes all of the rules. Maybe it's the rat ogre that we saw earlier. Rat ogre. It's French now. Who are the rats' enemies? Goblins? Hag? Dillhorne. I think Dillhorne's a good answer, but I think it's a fairly bland one. But I think it's rock solid. What was the main bad guy? Canopy's Breach. Mushroom people. But that doesn't work with our famine idea. Neither does the hags, because they don't eat. Right? So if it's a famine, it has to be somebody that would dislike being famine. So goblins, Dillhorne, kobolds. Yeah, Carol, kobolds. Cats. Are there cats in the adventure? Looking at this table here of all the Owlbear, no. Who are the many teeth? Is that goblins? Yeah, goblins are many teeth, probably. Hi, everybody. Druids. Yes, druids have to eat. Hey, druids a good one because the druids are all like, food folks. Anyway, here's a poll. Alloop. This is great. It's like having a writer's room with 100 people in it. Goblins takes the lead. That's good, Alpaca. They're targeting the goblins, but the means of the famine will affect the whole forest. I think whoever they're doing this against, it is going to be bad for everybody. Because then we get to really hate the rats, you know? I'm going to do a little bit of typing here. Rathome. Spud guns. Writer's room with 100 people is how you get a really bad Netflix show. Yes, but I get to be a dictator, so good news for me. Hang on. Buttons. There we go. Goblin druids? No, we're not mixing the factions. If you're new here, we've already got this list of factions we did last time. We're just going to keep that list of factions. But we are going to work on Rathome in particular. Here be adventures. Spud guns. They're making famine. They hate the druids. Science versus nature. Right? That's the premise of the adventure. Don't go, labor hell. No. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. X2, 5, room dungeon. There we go. So we're going to go open up. Dungeon scroll. And I'm going to go log in there. Create a map. No half squares. I'm not a half square guy. I'm a full square guy. Intend your squares. So what are we thinking about the shape of this thing? Did the Radigan dig tunnels as far as the Druid's place? Would that work? How big is our hex map here? Let me have a look. Rathome. Where are the Druids? They're all the way at the Gentle Grove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 times 3 is 48. Wow, I did that all in my head. 48 miles? I don't think so. Maybe. I think instead of a tunnel, they should have a science-y artifice rat port. A rortal. No. Yeah. I like that idea though. I'm gonna hang on. Let's go back to our note software. Portal to the Druid Grove. Suddenly it's interesting. If you go into this dungeon, you can leave at the Druid Grove dungeon. And now we're adventuring. We don't know where we're gonna go, right? That's fun. Natural caverns? No, no, no. Big portal. You know, they take one of their own, they crush them, they put them in a thing, it hacks them up, and it squeals, and then green glow comes across a big gateway, and now you can cross your way into the Druid Grove. Another thing we'd be good to do is indent these. Agriculture magic tech, and then we're gonna put in spud guns, and they're making a famine, right? So they hate the druids, doing magic tech, agriculture magic tech. Cheesy, everyone's obsessed with cheese, but they're not mice. Do rats? Is the rats liking cheese an equally big meme? I'm not familiar with that. Let me go find a map here. My wonder now is what kind of enemies do they have? So we've got the druids, and last time we talked a lot about getting the hag involved in this. Now maybe the hag's their ally. Maybe the hag's their ally. Hang on, I'm going to close that poll. The druids won, fair and square. Landslide. People want the druids. What was Moonstone Grove? Was that a different druid tribe? We weren't there two druid tribes? I think there were. Hag provided the portal frame. That's good. Gift from Hag. So which druids do they hate? Presumably they hate the good druids. Hang on, these are. Why do I keep closing the goddamn Dillhorne map? Here we go. Yeah, it's a Novan, right? These were two different druid tribes, so they could have a tunnel to the Moonstone Grove. Do they just hate all druids everywhere? Tunnels to Moonstone Grove? Death to druids? Yeah. Is Dungeon Scroll free? It is. I think there's a paid version that does something extra, but I think I have the free version. I'm not even logged in. Good druids, bad druids, weird rats. Those are the three factions of every good D&D campaign. Love to know the hex map software. This software? This is Photoshop. We talked about this last time. I just open up Photoshop, do a grid, and then get a brush. But there are software that do this. I don't really know about any of them, if I'm honest. So what do we have here? Rats, death to druids, tunnels. I don't know. I don't know. We got these two layers. So what are the two layers? Top and bottom. So top. What's on the top layer? Bottom. Portals on the bottom. Tunnels. So we just need to do number one. Actually, layout. Top. Does that not work? Do I have to go format, paragraph, numbered list? There we go. Oh, it's not all pretty and formatted. Okay, I'm gonna do it a different way because this bugged me. I'm bugged. Entrance and entrance. Damn the French. Play. Because I think the puzzle is our, and I think here we're gonna do roleplay, rat friend, right? This is also why having a structure is good, because then you start to realize quickly what your beats are. Climax, Rocket Rat. Wasn't he in Guardians of the Galaxy? Rocket Raccoon. Oh, I never played the theme song. I just sort of went right into it. Top is farms, labs on the bottom. That's good. Labs, farms. Oh, so this is just top is farms above ground. Bottom, lab, warrens, right? So there's a bit on top and then there's a bit below. Track says I plead not guilty. In French, it's entrée. Top climax, rat ogre. Brilliant. You see, folks, this is what outlines do for us. We quickly start to get a shape of these things. Rat rogue. I don't think we should do both. This is the level 1, level 2, level 3. I think if we do both, I think it's gonna we're gonna absolutely kill it. Frickin' the chicken. This is obsidian. Because we could do so. What's our entrance? Why haven't we done this? Why hasn't other people done this? That's the question of the entrance, right? Setback, reward. So I think this is just rat encounter, right? We at some point we just have to fight some rats. Red key for the lab. Doom. Which Doom? I don't think I finished a single Doom game. I think I played all of them a bit. We can make a rat friend. Fight a rat ogre. Is it one word? I don't remember. Rat ogre. Also, Trek, what are you doing in here? I thought you were also streaming. Wall of rotten food. Like a perimeter? That's good. It's just a check to overcome without taking damage or something about something like that. Crushing wave of rats. You call it the elemental. I thought you were going to say ratamental. Yeah, the hag. 100% correct. Elems. I think I'm saying that right. The hag just wants to destroy druids. I think the hags are sort of puppet master. I think she's going to be pulling some strings. She's going to be a good sort of midway bad guy. A wave of rats. I do like the. It could be both Ratigan and just rats, like swarms. Hey, Ali Smith, Arcane Affinity. How you doing? Reward for the top would be to find the bottom. Yeah, yeah. See, it's funny because somebody else said the setback for the top is finding the bottom, and I think it is a little bit of both. Lulz, this is Obsidian. So at some point, I'm gonna get tired of that gag, but not right now. So I do think here you go and find the entrance to the layer below. Entrance. I really want to blame the French, but the French have told me it's not their fault. Hi, we've got this mostly sorted here. If you're new and if you just joined us, hello, hi. We're doing this adventure making stream where we make a level 1 to 3 adventure. We're running through right now. We're making a rat dungeon. We're going to do 2 5-room dungeons. One is above ground and there's a bunch of farms where they do agriculture. And below is going to be where they do their labs and secret science to go fight a war against the druids in the forest. This right here is the forest. I love making them just like this. This is a lot of fun. I've been doing one of them a month now for the broadsheet, which is how I am able to do this for a living. It is the thing that funds this entire channel. It's this digital magazine that we've been working on, me and AB and my co-writer Magnus, and the cover art here is done by Brimmer, does a bunch of the interior art. Also got interior art from Ali, who's in chat right now. And AB, who did all the heraldry for the newest issue of the magazine, which includes the Arthusian University, which is a huge campus. I think it's 6 pages of that. It's just a huge campus. All the colleges have their own heraldry, all the things you can study. I think it's enough there to launch your own campaign. It's got its own subclasses in the newest issue, which is a 66-page issue. So all 3 issues right now, October, November, December, those 3 issues are closing in on 160 or 170 pages of content for my setting, which includes 3 adventures, 3 boroughs in detail, a description of our continent, description of Blackguard, 47 plot hooks, enough for you to start an adventure in my campaign setting right now if you wanted to. And it's got subclasses and magic items, and we're going to continue making them in the near future. So if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a member on our Patreon. You'll get access to the broadsheet. You also get bonus videos like Daði's Diaries, where I show you my prep notes. And you can literally download my notes for all my sessions. You go download them. We also have Game Tales, where we talk with my friends. And we got the broadsheets, and you'll get the access to the whole back catalog if you join as a Mystic Adept. So if you want to get a look at this setting up close and in person, go check out the broadsheet on the Patreon. At the Adept tier or above. Anyway, that's how we pay the bills. I have to tell you about the broadsheet. That's why. Anyway, here we go. Lab warrants. Entrance. What is? See, I think the reward should be separate. Because I think this entrance here is going to be finding the entrance to the layer below. It's hidden. It's trapped. And I think that's it. Does the lab have a druid prisoner that the rats are interrogating? Yes. Yes, they do. That's the reward. So actually, we're sort of stacking it here. I think we could put them in the farm though. I think druid prisoner is a great idea, Trek, but I think we're going to put them in the farm just because then we have content for both sections. Portal. How does it work? Where does it go? Right? Rat victim. Can't help. His friend from Gentle Grove. Brilliant. Hey, I'm Parazio. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining. Is the druid prisoner shaped like a bear? I see what you're doing. I see it. Stop it. Hat of vermin. Horse. Yeah. Obviously. And I think as a reward... Oh, oh, ah, thank you so much. Oh my god, thank you. Moi. Druid should be catfolk. We can do that. We should talk about what the druids are in the druid bit, though. Thank you so much, Ambrazio. I really appreciate that. Thanks. You're looking to avenge generations of prosecution. You know, I don't think you're wrong. Rewards for this dungeon should be rat science. Rocket launcher. Limited use, right? We've only got a certain amount of rockets. That's gonna be it. And then other stuff. I don't know what the other stuff is. Syringes of mutations. What else do we do? What else do we want to give away here? Jetpack. Yes, he does have a jetpack. Look. Jetpack. Everything's backwards. There we go. Yes, we should put a jetpack. Syringes of mutations. Can the missiles be shaped like giant bats? Yeah, mostly Ratfolk. Sorry, I've been saying rats just because I'm having fun. But no, I'm mostly Ratfolk, like Skaven. I like this. I think we've got a decent outline here. So we could go now if we want to go do a map. We could. I don't know if that's a great use of our time. Minions. Skaven Doom player, lawnmower from hell. What are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about like talking about stuff we can give away. So it should just be level 1 to 3 stuff, so it can't be too crazy. Ideally, I can hand this over to a DM when we're done, and we'll have gotten maybe art and maps and things. We'd written it out a little bit more, and then somebody can run it. I think the big thing we want to figure out is how this connects to the rest of the dungeon. Because what we could do right now is we could go sit down. We could take each and every single one of those points and we could turn them into a longer sort of chunk on what it is we're talking about. So we could say, instead of we fight a rat ogre, we can say, here's the rat ogre, here are its stats, here's its name, here's what it's going to do. We can go do all that. Or we could go and try and connect it to the rest of the hex scroll, so that when we're done with this dungeon, we want to go do the rest of the hex scroll. Now, which do you folks think is more interesting to do on stream? So, what's next? Connect to hex scroll. More details. And I need to know. Warpstone, regain a spell slot. Yeah, it's not bad. Crush it. Get a spell stone. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks, Anonymous. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, connect to the hex scroll. I think that's a better use of our time. It's kind of already connected via the druids. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Basically, whenever I take an outline like this and I turn it into text, I rewrite it from scratch. And in this case, I'd probably want to do it in InDesign because I want this to go fit on a spread. And I think that's, I think it'd be a waste for us to do it in here. Now, we could still do that, but I think if we're going to do more details, I think we should just add more bullet points so that we have it in our head, and then the clean written version, I can do all of that in InDesign. Because it just takes me less time if I'm writing straight into InDesign for this kind of stuff. Thanks, Emperazio. Yeah, I really like hex scrolls now. I didn't used to, but after thinking about all the stuff that ended up being the script for that video, I'm really into it now. So let's just make a little thing here. Let's call it connections. Hack relationship. Talk to the rat friend. Druid enmity. Icelandic letter in there. Talk to the druid. Oop. There you go. Now I'd love to get a couple more in here. So ideally what happens is by the time the players are done with this dungeon, they have a bunch of stuff they want to do. Also, I wonder if Rat Wall is actually... we should do the surrounding area. That's what we should do. Because we're not going to do a special stream for these surrounding area sites. So let's do a different thing here. The Rot Wall, it's currently called Rat Wall, but we're going to change that to Rot Wall. There's loot in there, right? If you go digging in the Rot Wall. And we need a new entrance. I don't know what it is yet. Thanks, Matthew France. I'm happy I could help. Yeah, it's getting excited for the first time is amazing. Like, when you realize what you're doing. I'm prepping an adventure right now that I'm about to run for my friends at the end of January on that topic. And we're probably going to record it. Or the plan is to record it and make it into an actual play. And we've gotten all the mics and all the cameras for it now. and I have not had an idea for an adventure this whole time. I know roughly what I want the premise to be. I know where it's set. I know what level it is. I know what I'd like the themes to be, but I haven't got an adventure yet. And then suddenly I cracked the whole case last night as I went to bed, and I laid my head on the pillow, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And suddenly I got so excited because that first time where you have your like pitch, we've got like, this is what I'm doing. This sounds awesome. And then it starts to like glass shattering. You've got this instant point that pierces, and then as it cracks out, those are your ideas. And you start to see them go a million different ways. And that's when you know it's a good D&D adventure, because you're going to give it to your players. You're not going to know which way they're going to go, but you know it can go a million ways, and then you're just gonna watch and you're gonna see it go, oh that, oh this, and every choice they make is gonna change which way the glass shatters. Then you know, then you're like, it's gonna be a great adventure. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, Giannis, I don't think it can be a tavern because it's like out in the middle of the forest. So I think we know this is a rat base. I don't think there's any doubt about that. What? So, what do you guys think logging site and fairy spring is? What's interesting about those? What is that? What is that? What what exciting? Huh? Why does anybody listen to me? It's a miracle. Because I would love a couple of more relationships. So I think I don't like that one of them is two words and the other one isn't. So oh, it's Moonstone Grove. Fairy Spring gets corrupted later. Show map. Oh yeah, sorry. Hang on. There you go. We've got Fairy Spring, logging site, and rat wall. Now a rat wall, I think, is just that idea of like a rotted wall. I think it's good. Beavers. Beavers. I don't know. I don't. Beavers? I no. I don't. I don't. That doesn't make. Thanks, freaking chicken. But I need to go to work. No, Stormer. No. No work. Only rat. Fairy Spring is a waterfall. Nefarious fairy things. It's 7:03 in the morning. Where do you live? Beavers are rodents. True. Is that the logging site? Consider beavers. I'm considering beavers. How big is this beaver? How big can we make one beaver? Can this be the world's biggest beaver? Alright, logging site. The world's biggest beaver. Fight the beaver? Speak to beaver. Beaver of knowledge. Hey, frickin' chicken, thank you so much. Dire beaver. Don't tell my boss. I won't. I know them well, but I won't tell them. Lab ratted beaver. Beaver that escaped. It escaped the rat. They made a huge beaver. The lab rat. Lab rat. That's good. Like that. I'm having a blast. So, Fairy Spring, I still don't know. Waterfall and guys, everyone's gifting memberships. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everybody. I haven't been able to say, by the way, Happy New Year. It's been incredible. Um this new year started off with a bang for us. I think that city video is our best performing video like that we've done. And it was a lot of work. We I think it took us 3 or 4 days of filming like different sections because we were doing bits outside and then bits at the table and then the bit to camera. So my hair changes in the middle. I get a haircut in the middle of that video. Uh, it was a lot of work, but I really wanted to. I've been wanting to make that video for about 3 months, and it's been tough finding the time because the broadsheet takes up so much time. But thank you, Gunnar. It's for you folks that we do this. Like no joke. That everybody in chat, not just the people giving memberships, but obviously thank you for that. But everybody in chat, like it's absolutely an honor and a pleasure that I get to do this with you folks and talk about the Beaver of Knowledge and how it's going to save the lab rats. A place to get healing items. That's a good idea for the Fairy Spring. Actually, that's a brilliant idea. Huge beaver angry. Logs are like toothpicks now. I like how much we're into this beaver. All it wants is bigger trees. That's amazing. Get temp HP at the Fairy Spring. That's also good, especially if you're doing excursion resting. Everybody who got a membership, make sure to come join our Discord and see if you don't like it. It's active, and if you go ask a question, experienced DMs will answer you. It's kind of amazing. Welcome aboard, Jay the Fae. Awesome name. Hi, everybody. Lots of new people. Okay, so I think we got these surrounding sites pretty well done. I would love to get a goblin connection in here. There are goblins just here. We have the hags. We have this. What is this goblin tribe? What's their relationship to the rats? We don't need to make the entire goblin tribe right now. We could. We could outline more 5 dungeons. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that's what we want to do. I don't know. Goblin prisoner? No. Ambassador? Is there a room we haven't filled? No. Well, we don't have the entrance. Goblin ambassador is hiding here. Has been pinned down by violent rats. Wants to get in. Right? There we go. It's a goblin spy. He wants. That's a good idea. But no, Chuck Loris. He wants to steal Radigan tech. I like that. So it occurs to me, if we do what we did just now, but for a handful others, we will have done the entire East Forest in this stream. And that will have been good progress. Good progress. Frickin' Chicken, you don't find the Discord if you connect your Discord account to your YouTube account, since you're a member, or if you're a patron, you connect it to your Patreon account. When you do that, Discord should realize that you are owed membership, and then you come join in. It's not that kind of spy. It's an ambassador. He's gonna talk. Maybe he's got. Hang on, I'll write that down. I'll write it down. I don't think that's what I'm doing, but Nettlerot. So let's go further afield. Let's expand the scope. What is Giant's Corpse? East Forest, Rot Wall, Logging Site, Fairy Spring, Giant's Corpse, and red rocks. These rocks are red. Tänker mig väl bara. Big hat. I like that more. Big hat. Big hat goblin. Giant's Corpse. Skeleton of a Cloud Giant. There's a gargantuan spellbook. You flip the pages and read the huge spellbook and learn one spell by spending 8 hours here. That's a dumb idea, but I like it. Kobolds, not kobolds. We have a kobold layer elsewhere, so this is something else. This is just a state of interest. It's not a dungeon or anything, so I think I'm just going to say there are heat stones here. I don't know what they're called. I did this recently in a session where I gave a player a stone, and it just is warm, and you can use it to set a campfire. Like, it doesn't need to be much. Since these locations of interest, we just want a little thing for people to hang their hat on, and that's it. And then we leave it alone. The rest we're going to do is dungeons. So there we go. We've got this. We've got a little bit of relationship to the other things, right? Moonstone Grove. We got the hags. We got the grove. We got a goblin in here. Hang on. Goblin. Ambassador. So why is this so important to me, right? You can see I've written here, and we've done this 5-room breakdown of these labs. We got a little theme here that we're going to go back to as we write the full text of this eventually. But then why do I keep coming back to this time about the connections? That's because in order for the hex crawl to work perfectly, we need to make sure that every time the players go into a dungeon, they are excited to go into another dungeon. They're excited to get into. They're in this dungeon, and all they want to do is leave the dungeon and go to another dungeon. So when they're in the dungeon, they find a thing, and they go, "Oh, it's the goblin thing. We heard about goblins, and we didn't go there. We went here instead because Steve wanted to go here. But okay, we're gonna go here, and now we found a goblin thing. Can we go to the goblins next?" And then they go into the dungeon. And they're like, oh, "A druid thing. There's another thing about the druids. I think something's going weird with the druids. I want to go to the druids next." So the moment they leave the dungeon, They're back at the hex map, and now they're in the hexploration part of the game, and they are excited about every option that you have told them about because you keep giving them new excuses to go there. And then they're going to have this list of stuff they want to do, and that list is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's going to make them want to keep coming back and keep visiting and spending time in each dungeon and in the hex scroll. And that's going to be a positive feedback loop that just gets them sinking into the game, gets them more and more and more and more excited. Because every time they go into a dungeon, they want to go into the hex scroll. Every time they go into the hex scroll, they want to go into a dungeon. That's a gameplay loop, right? So that's why it is so important to me that we get these connections in, because that is actually the value of the dungeon. The players are excited about getting the reward, which is going to be magic items, hat of vermin, rat weapon, poison, the rat dagger, right? Get the word rat in there and then it passes muster. Exactly. Demon cookie. Exactly. Every answer needs to give 3 questions. Because then you keep asking questions, you keep getting answers, but that gives you 3 questions. And suddenly there is no escaping the vortex that pulls you into the game. And game night becomes an opportunity to get answers to your questions. Right? That becomes the juice. That's the thing we're after. That's victory. That, yeah. We had a couple of friends come over and they were having dinner with us earlier. And they were all talking about the things they wanted to do when they got back to the hex scroll. They were saying, oh, can't wait to go back to the bay. We sort of ignored the bay the first time around, but I really want to go into the bay because I want to do this dungeon. And somebody said, oh, I don't want to do the bay because I want to do this dungeon. And somebody said, hang on, weren't these monsters in here? And they went, no, that was this third dungeon. And now they've got this image of the bay and dungeons they know are in there. And they're all exciting. And now they're not playing D&D, but they're thinking about all the stuff that gets them excited to play. That's moi. That's what you want. So when we're in here, we want to think about these connections because they are going to be how we get everybody excited about everything else. So because we did a double 5-room dungeon here, let's take this format and let's... Oh, wow. There we go. Jacobek, this sounds like the place my players are arguing for 40 minutes during a session. But if they're talking about what to do next and they're debating, that isn't like bad arguing. That's them engaged. That's them wanting to go do something next. Right? See you, Gunnar. Good luck back at work. Well, thanks, Nick. So, what makes excited about these other things? Moonstone Grove. What makes us excited about which one? Let's go run through these ideas here. Which dungeon do we do next? Moonstone Grove. I'm going to do a little poll. Nettlerot. Many Teeth. Tribe. Goblins. Wayward Wolf. I'm on PC. I grew up on Mac, but alright. Looks like it's the Moonstone Grove. What's the locate? What will be the location that first alludes to the BBG? The one you said last time would refer to multiple times at the end of each different 5-room dungeons. Probably something on the other side of the forest. Now, it could be the Moonstone Grove could be a good place for it, but I don't think so. We don't want everything to connect to it either, because we want to make sure that the players have an excuse to go explore. If you push too heavy on anything, if you give them 30 clues for one place, that's where they're going to go next. But we probably want to do one of these, probably the hag. But everything in this side of the forest should point at the hag, because I think she's kind of our mini boss. What website am I using to write all this down? It's a program called Obsidian. I've got a video on it right there. All right, Moonstone Grove it is. Moonstone doesn't sound like a goblin boss place. It's not. Many Teeth is. Look at the pole. Maybe the giant died in the same war the battle is from. That's correct. 100%. Was flying. Crashed here. Death by crash. Alright, Moonstone Grove 1. What do we know about the hag? We're not going to do the hag just yet. We don't know anything about the hag except that she wants to kill the druids. We can write that down. Wants to kill the druids. And I think Moonstone Grove is the bad druids. Druid circle. I think that was our idea. The Moonstone Grove was the bad druids. So, want to destroy the town of Dillhorne. Yeah, let me swap to the table. No, the screen. Wasn't that the other side? Oh, I don't know. Was it? Obsidian Camp. Yeah, I have a special Obsidian Camp for the question I get asked the most. This software is Obsidian. I like it. It's free. You don't have to pay them anything. Nettlerot. Moonstone Grove. Alright. Which... Pretty sure Gentle Grove is good guys, because I put a little town marker there, whereas this one is just a dungeon marker. And I don't think Nettlerot is a 5-room dungeon. But these other two are. So they are the bad guy druids, I'm pretty sure. Unless all of chat disagrees with me, but I'm pretty sure. $20 add-ons? Jakku, what are you talking about? This is Nax's Vault. Now it might have some add-ons in it. But by default, and if you go check out this video, I have 0 add-ons. I don't add anything onto this offer. Druids are extremists against the use of steel. Yeah, if you put on armor, you explode. Paraboli. I don't know what that means. That's alright, Fallen Souls. Yeah, there's lots of stuff in here that's by default is really cool. So, Canvas. This, for instance, is something Salk has been using. My players. And you can go in here and you can go blurp, and you can type in a little text. And you can go root and add a card, type in text. And you can create your own little sort of infinite board that just goes on, like family trees or whatever you want to make. It's awesome. Can't recommend it enough. Love this thing. Yeah, what plugins are in this vault? So these are core. Community plugins, 4. Supercharged linked, templator, style settings, folder notes. Because I remember when I was talking with Nax about this vault, I was like, can we make sure it's not too crazy? I don't like plugins. I don't like them. I'm minimalist in this. I've got one plugin now in my other vault, which is just a calendar. Is Obsidian a purely D&D friendly tool, or could it be used with other TTRPGs? It is not related to TTRPGs at all. Obsidian is just a bit of software that reads .md files, which are text files, and displays them in a particular way. You should go check out this video. I explained the whole thing, but it has nothing to do with RPGs. There are software for RPGs that are like doing the Obsidian thing specifically for RPGs, but Obsidian itself, you can use it for college or for your work or whatever you're doing. I just use it for D&D. I know people who make YouTube videos and they write their scripts in this. That sounds smart. I should do that. I don't. So what's our bad guy druid? You guys were really excited about druids. So what do we do with the druids? I don't know what we're gonna do. How do we go evil druid grove? Because to me it just sounds like a bunch of hippies. bunch of people in the forest who turn into animals and are mad at the world. Fix the fast travel. Yeah, that could be interesting. So I think specifically for the other one, we want to have like good guy quests that they want to ask. But I don't know. Evil god, maybe. Fake evil god, maybe. Lycanthrope nudists. SKWPG, I am a professional speaker. You're watching me speak professionally right now. Kidding aside, I went, I applied to read for audiobooks at some point, but they never called me, so I can't have been that good. Are they unrepentantly evil, like our rat, or conditionally evil? In the player's way right now. I don't know. If we're doing 2 tribes, I guess the real question we're wondering if we're going to the druids right now is what makes having 2 tribes interesting? What makes them where's the juice? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Maybe it's a mistake for us to try and do another outline tonight. Moon theme makes me think druids that embrace aberration, says Talvara, and see it as an evolution to nature rather than a threat. Cool. I think like Moonstone, I immediately go like Circle of the Moon. Like they're all turn into animals, but I don't find it incredibly interesting. I don't know what it is that just makes me go, what do I do with this? Now, Schism in the Tribe, yeah, I think that's interesting. I think these used to be 2 tribes. When the split happens, I think we basically have Savior and Magneto, right? So the Gentle Grove is like we can work with this. We can figure out how to do this. We can live in peace. That wasn't cool, but we can live in peace. And the other one is they will become the forest. The forest is forever, and we will turn them into the forest. So they could be empathetic if we want. They could be, hey, this happened and we're mad about it. ... And now we're going to kill all the humans. Right? I think that's sort of where we're at. Oh, bagels. Let's have a look at this. Sorry, I'm muted. I apologize. Uh, I was responding to somebody was asking Furiel, rat things. How much have I missed? We moved on to the druids. We finished a bunch of rat stuff, and now I'm going to try and write a little bit about the druids. Because they presumably hate the rats back, right? Because I think I like the idea of this being a 5-room dungeon in tempo, but not layout. 5 stages of a conversation, like we did with the Dungeon Jam Hungry Mutts dungeon, if any of you folks remember that. Meet the Circle. I think it's just like 5 druids. Like if we're doing the Brotherhood of Mutants from X-Men, it's Magneto, Sabretooth, Toad, Mystique, depending on what incarnation you're watching, right? I think it's our elite team. And setback, fight the circle, climax. The leader turns into a big monster / beast. Mid-fight. Reward. Loot the druid. So here, what we're talking about is we're not talking about a 5-room dungeon in terms of layout. We're not going to have there be 5 rooms. You go to this room, you go to this room, you go to this room. We're talking about one conversation. You walk into this place. It's a house. It's got some mutants in it. Sorry, some druids in it. They're like player characters. We give them names and stats, and we make them all different. And then, while you talk to them, you slowly realize that these are bad guys, and they're going to fight you. Then you fight them, and as the fight is progressing, one of them, the leader, turns into a big scary monster And now the fight has a second phase, right? And then you loot the Druid Grove. Whatever's in here and some Druid items. So now we have another version of a 5-room dungeon. It's still a dungeon, and it's still got entrance, puzzle, setback, climax, reward. But it's not spread in space, it's spread in time. So the structure, like, if you go and do this right after you do the rats, these will feel entirely different. But they're the same structure. So you know, a lot of talk about our 5-room dungeons all the same. I don't think so. I don't think there's a risk of that, personally. Hey Ginja, I really appreciate that. Happy New Year to you too. Blob Druid. I don't know what that means. Dr. Detroit. This is Obsidian. So, Many Teeth Tribe. Nettlerot. Let's leave the Many Teeth Tribe. I think we can do something interesting with them. Let's real quick talk about the Hag. What do we think is interesting about the Hag? Because I think it's not a 5-room dungeon. Probably just a single encounter. Can't talk to the Hag. Lots of loot. Sorry, I wrote things. Here they are. Do you disagree? Let's put a poll. Poll time. What should the Hag be like? 5-room dungeon? Encounter/dialogue? Something else? Like, I don't know. You tell me. All right, people are saying 5-room dungeon. Atticus Lynch wants a lycanthrope with Moonstone Grove. We can do that. Wereboar? Either wereboar or werewolf. Make them all be lycans is not a bad idea. No longer druids. Or lycans now? That's not a bad idea. I apologize. I was slow on the mute button. Got this nasty cough. The Hag is an enemy, but she has a common enemy. I do like that. Ooh, Private 13 has got like a whole pitch. Friendly old woman who offers tea, but turns out to be a night hag, and then the tea makes you sleepy. And she eats your dreams and leaves you waking up in a random spot in the forest. That's cool. What software are you using for your notes? It's Obsidian. See, I always thought a running gag would be good for the channel. Least pressing threat. So let's say she doesn't want to kill Dillhorne. Well, she does. So okay, hang on. Night Hag, who wants to control the entire forest. She's willing to talk to anyone and help them make it easier for her. She will work with PCs to fight monsters. Work with monsters to fight PCs. Work with monsters to fight other monsters, right? So she's there like pulling the strings, right? She's this, hey, puppet master. Evil. And she's gonna do all this crazy nonsense. So she's gonna go, fighting the hag. Just a hag grotto, probably a single encounter in a cool boss room. Baldur's Gate hag, somebody mentioned, was cool. I agree. She was. Looting her grotto, looting her house. Hag loot. Door jam, best magic item in D&D. Can't steal that. That belongs to Fairy Fire, and they're too cool. Everybody should buy Fairy Fire just for the door jam. Hag's bargains. I like the idea of her like trying to get everybody to she's a green dragon as well. Yeah, kind of like plays like in lore green dragon, I think. Toothless. Stow your silver teeth, travelers. We would like to speak. Put that in here. Right? So what is she going to offer the players? I think one thing she's willing to offer them, just tell them about the other factions in her side of the wood. In return, they can't harm her. Anyone agreeing to a hag's bargain is supernaturally held to that bargain, taking damage if they break it. Right? So she's going to say, hey, I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to talk to you, but you can't hurt me. And if they agree to that, she says, okay, we have a deal. And then there's some like flash of light. And then if they, like every time they go against that deal, they take damage. Maybe they make a save or take damage. Maybe it's limited once per turn. We'll figure that out. But it is supernaturally, it keeps them to it. So one of the PCs have something you could especially tempt them with. I mean, this is supposed to be like for anyone to run. So we could put a sidebar saying, hey, you know, if you want to tempt your players with something, she can offer it. So we can do that right now. Table. Sidebar. Tempt your PCs with stuff. And I would just need to know what she's going to offer them. Like, she's basically a quest giver. Quest giver hag, right? Fighting the many teeth tribe. Fighting the Rathome. But we can't, like, the best way to do it would be to tie it somehow specifically to the PCs. And you could do this if you're a DM. There's nothing stopping you from just saying, hey, if the PCs are doing this or that, use this hag to go, offer them that. You just write it in your prep notes. I want to offer Steve's character this thing. I want to offer AB and Octavia the Paladin this thing. You have to make a deal with the hag. We can do that. But the goal of Dillhorne, this thing that we're making, is that we're going to end up with an adventure that loads of people could download and use. So it kind of has to be contained in the adventure. I'll open up the community plugins again. Here they are. This is the ones that we use. This is an Access Vault. There's a video on it on the channel. I like that. Somebody said offer temporary blessing. I think it should just be the same thing. I want her to attack with an army. Like, if they don't deal with her eventually. Yeah. Potion to look like. I don't know. I don't know. The images of those she's killed through her pacts join her side. The other one. There we go. And I don't think it's going to be a night hag. I think we are going to make it a green hag, but we're going to get her more and more powerful as players deal with her. An army of what? So if the players, here's the pitch. If the players talk to the hag and say, hey, we're going to go, what do you want? And she goes, kill the rat man. And they go, okay, we can kill the rat man. And she goes, I will bless you. And they go, okay, sweet. Well, what's the rat man about? And she will tell them what's in the dungeon. She will just say, here's what is in the dungeon, and then they get temporary hit points. And they get a potion. They can look like these guys, maybe. I don't know. But then, if they go kill 12 rats while working for her, while they have those temporary hit points, when they come back to the hag's lair, she has added to her ranks a small group of rats. Because she is creating an army of the images of the people they fight. Fairy magic. I can use it. I don't know why she sounds like Yoda, but that's what it is, right? And then the players might go, okay, can you use that army to help us fight something else? And she goes, yeah, sure. But eventually, she will attack Dillhorne with that army, unless she's stopped. I think that's it. I don't think it has to target them specifically. I think we want to tempt the players as much as we can so that they take the agreement. Every time I put a hag in front of my players, they just say no to everything she says. They don't trust her one bit. So, here's a way we can do it. So we got the lichens. We got the hag bargains. We got a double 5-room dungeon. We've got all the areas of interest here. And then the thing we've left alone so far is the Goblin Tribe. And I think the thing we want out of the Goblin Tribe is a classic 5-room dungeon. First level 5-room dungeon. So she will have a Lycan army too. Yeah. If they work with her. If they work with her, she'll get a Lycan army, she'll get a Rat army, she'll get a Goblin army. It won't be huge, but it'll be enough to challenge all of Dillhorne. And that could be the climax of the adventure. And that's another point. We were talking about BBGs. I think one of the BBGs is the mushroom leader of the other side of the forest. But the thing that makes hex crawls interesting is the fact that we don't know what it is. The hex crawl I'm running right now in my main game, we're up to like session 100 or whatever. That hex crawl is entirely up to the players to determine who the bad guy is at the end. I have prepared what could be 4 or 5 different arch villains, CR 30 villains. I don't know which one I'm using. Maybe all of them, maybe none of them, maybe 1 or 2. Which one it is going to be up to the players. And that's sort of the beauty of a hex crawl, right? Is that we can do this. Now, it's probably gonna be that the villain is a certain character in that adventure, and it's probably gonna be that in this adventure, it's gonna be the knight raising up the mushroom zombies. But hey, if they keep working with the hag, maybe she's the villain. And that's a good sort of twist too, because like sometimes DMs will hit upon the idea of I'm gonna have a friend of the players betray them. And that often ends up leaving players feel mad. But if what you do instead is it's not a friend of the players that betrays them, it's a tenuous ally that they think is going to betray them. They're working with this person, they're thinking, one of these days, this hag's going to stab us in the back. But for some reason it hasn't yet. That's tension. There's this Hitchcock interview that I think about a lot in terms of this exact problem in D&D tables, where they want the twist villain, right? And there's a Hitchcock interview. He's saying, imagine a scenario where 2 people are sitting at a table having a conversation, and it goes on for 5 minutes, and they're having a conversation about baseball or something, and then the cafe they're sitting at blows up and they die. I mean, you are absolutely shocked for about 7 seconds, and then you move on. But imagine that same scenario. It's the opening of the film. And these people are talking. And then they're talking about baseball. And the camera is watching them talk. And then it pans underneath the table where you see a bomb. And it says 4, 58, 57, 56, 55. And they're still talking about baseball. And they're going, you, the audience, you're not going to get shocked for 7 seconds. You're going to be in suspense for minutes. For the whole scene, you're going to wonder, are they going to move? Somebody walks up to the table and it's your favorite character and he asks them some questions, or it's the waiter and he's like, oh, you dropped something, let me go pick it up, and you're like, oh, he's going to see the bomb, and then he doesn't. And then somebody crosses their legs, they bump it, and the bomb and the timer jitters, and you go, oh. And then it keeps ticking down, and you're just going to keep the tension. You're going to keep the tension. A character of a twist villain like the hag, they're going to be able to do that to your players. They're going to be able to have your players sit there going, what, when is it going to betray us? Why, how, under what circumstances? Those characters are interesting. Those relationships are interesting. They add drama. If the best person in the world eventually goes, I was evil all along, power word kill. Okay, yeah, I'm in incredible shock and awe, and I feel completely betrayed. That wasn't fun. But the hag, we know the hag's going to betray us. Are we going to work with her now again? I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't. It's a debate. What do we want? That's tense. That's tension. That's the difference between suspense and shock, is whether or not you could see the timer on the bomb. Right? So I really like what we have here with the hag, and that's why. I think this is interesting. I think for this goblin dungeon, we're going to keep it dead simple. We're going to say there's a bugbear boss. Sit back. Fighting goblins. We're not gonna be puzzle. It's not gonna be roleplay. It's gonna be a puzzle, or actually trap. That's the second room. You can sort of swap them around, and we're gonna say it's you know, dungeon trap, corridor trap, spike pit trap. That's fun. That's why your players never take the hags bargains. They don't want to be in suspense for that many sessions. No, they specifically don't like hags. I do this all the time. I nonstop give them people that they know are bad, and they will work with them because I tempt them. Except for Lionel Krauser, one of my favorite NPCs. I haven't gotten them for some reason. I haven't gotten them to take his bargains. I will eventually. So spike pit trap. We need an entrance. Bugbear boss, fighting goblins. +1 sword. Right? This is just going to be a classic 5-room dungeon. Nothing intense. We're going to find ways to connect it to the rest of the adventures going on. This one here needs a connection as well. Hey, it's Ugly Goblin. We're making 5-room dungeons. We were making rat dungeons, but now we're making 5-room dungeons. Sorry, we're fighting goblins. Some of the loot could be something stolen or bartered that the current owner could not have used effectively. That is good, Menarak. Reward +1 sword. A Rattigan weapon. Let's do Warpstone. Let's do Silver Dagger. Silver Battle Axe. Actually, so here, we're going to separate the loot from the reward. So this is just loot found while dungeoneering. The reward is a crude map of this side of the forest. Warpstone, Silver Battle Axe, because we got lycanthropes. Goblin lookouts. Yeah. And notes to stay away from the rats, to talk to the hag, right? Little clue. Connections. Map with clues. That'll be enough for us here. Because remember the tribe here is all the way on the end, and I'm probably gonna start by telling players to go there. I think this is our obvious sort of level 1 location. And then the rest sort of spells out from there. I don't know what the connections in the Moonstone Grove are gonna be. I have no idea. I don't know. Connections. They talk. Hate the rats. Don't trust the hag. We have the blessing of the fact that they talk. We're going to use it, right? Don't trust the hag. Goblins are weak. They want to fight them eventually. Right? I think at that point we're starting to see this sort of whole thing come apart. Matthew France, if you're playing with a 5-room dungeon structure, you can obviously do that. Like, go experiment. 100% go experiment. But the main thing I would suggest is that the thing you're playing with, just make sure you're not messing with the beginning, middle, and end. Right? Like, if you still have you talk about a surprise climax, still have that, I think it works. Plenty of movies you like, start with in media res. Moonstone people are angry. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So I think we have it. I think we've done a sort of outline, a crude version at least, of this entire side of the forest. Now, we're not going to do the entire other side of the forest in one go, but we might do, we might focus on Canopy's Breach and the bad guy, stuff like that. So let's try and set the focus of the next stream in a little bit. Let me start writing down. What's the next stream about? It's either the main bad guys, druids, wizard tower. I think that's going to be the poll I'm going to post. Now, this whole dungeon is a starting dungeon, sort of level 1 to 3, or maybe 4 or 5, I don't know. The idea is that you can run it for people who've never played D&D before. And ideally, we can write it in such a way that people who are brand new to DMing could pick it up and run it. And it could be a sort of Mystic Arts starter set. It's not going to be a physical product. I don't think. We don't know how to do that, but it'll be a digital product. And it's going to have art and layout and stuff like that. Now, obviously, right now, it all just looks like this. But if I manage to do my job right, I'm going to go into InDesign, I'm going to type these things up. And when I'm done typing them up, I'm going to get art and layout, and we're going to get tables, and we're going to get all the maps done. And at that point, it'll look a bit more like this. This is the broadsheet that we do over on the Patreon. And you can see here's Bank Holiday, and this is the adventure in the broadsheet. And it's got these sort of headers, boxes, and tone. It explains the summary. It's got a introduction with a lot of read aloud text to set the tone of the adventure. And then it opens up into the character roster where you got stat blocks and art. You've got a layout of the bank and a little map. Now, we could also do full, like incarnate battle maps and stuff like that. We can really expand on it and make sure to put in all this kind of additional stuff and outline, just absolutely outline the crap out of it, and get unique pieces for the town, for who's in it. We can get character art for it, like we did here with the college. For instance, this is the Arthusian University, the newest issue of the zine. And you've got here how much it costs to go to this college, who's in charge, what do you learn, what are the philosophies you learn. You got this beautiful art done by Birna, you got these heraldry done by Birna, my girlfriend who's sitting behind me right now. And this is a list of all the colleges in this university, what they're called, who's in charge, when they were founded, what you can learn there, the lecture halls and the societies, the secret societies, and a detailed map of specifically the university campus. And if you want to go pick up the broadsheet, this is how this channel is funded. This is how I'm able to go do this full time and spend all this time on making videos and streaming. We've got 3 issues up on the Mystic Arts Patreon right now, available to Adept members. And they are 56 pages, 52 pages, 66 pages, the 3 issues. So it's well over 150 pages if you go subscribe right now for the initial starting Adept tier, the $12 a month. And for that, you'll get basically a D&D splat book of my setting, subclasses, adventures, setting a burrow. You'll get magic items, a whole bunch of stuff. It's all available right now on the Patreon. the broadsheet. And when I'm done with Dillhorne, it'll look like that. We'll go through the whole thing. I've already collected some stock art for it, and we're probably gonna get some custom art made for it as well. And I'm really excited to make that sort of thing in the way it can tie into the broadsheet, but also be completely run on its own as a standalone. That kind of rhymed, if you don't think too hard about it. And it seems main bad guys has won the poll. So next time we're going to talk about mushroom zombies. We're going to talk about the, what are they called? Druid Circle. Battlefield, the Risen Knight, the Mushroom Sentients. We're going to have to figure out the Last of Us in D&D adventure. And we're going to have to put it on our hex map, and we're going to see how it connects to everything else. Because this was it for now. We'll have to leave the Wizard Tower for one more stream. I'm sorry, anybody who was excited about the Wizard Tower. I know that's the one lots of people are asking about. We're going to be Dillionaires. Hell yeah. Dillhornians. Sorry, yours is better. I apologize. I think that's it. I think that's everything we're going to talk about right now. We've done 4 5-room dungeons, and we've done in outlines. They're not done. And we've done a whole bunch of locations. So that is where we're going to pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend. And if you want to support us directly, go check out the broadsheet on our Patreon and see what we're doing over there. And that way you can join our Discord and talk to us and ask questions about the campaign setting or anything else you want to ask about, how running your own game works. And if you're feeling especially generous, you might like the video, comment, share, or subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we release new videos. So until next time, keep studying the mystic arts.